I'd like to convene the October Bridges and Tunnel Committee meeting. Ms. McCone, are there any public speakers?
Good morning. We have 2 members of the public registered to speak today. As a reminder, we ask that all public speakers adhere to the MTA's rules of conduct and decorum. I would also like to remind our public speakers that in the interest of time and fairness to all speakers, we limit everyone to 2 minutes. Please be aware of the clock in the room and the warning light you will see reminding you that you have 30 seconds left to conclude your remarks. The first speaker will be Murray Bowden. Following will be Maddie Bucky's Highland.
Good morning. It's on? After all these years, I finally realized I've been doing it wrong. Kathy, I've been asking you to do it, and we've been discussing this for years, but it was the wrong thing to do. David, I need your attention. It is your responsibility and the responsibility of this board to see that Kathy enforces the law as currently written. She is not doing it. We both know it. We don't have to discuss it here because she taught me about obeying it consistently and doing it the same way. So you taught me. I'm using what you taught me. It's this board's responsibility, not Kathy's, to see the laws enforced. You hire and fire Kathy. She's great. She's terrific. But she's caught in a system where enforcement is the problem, not the law. And so, David, you and this board either make Kathy, I've been diagnosed with dementia. And so when I misspeak, please correct me. Because when I know it, I try to do it right. I'm going to run out of time. David, thank you for being a good mentor. You've taught me a lot. Kathy, thank you for teaching me. Unfortunately, what you taught me was where to put the responsibility. Not only is it here, it's everywhere. The federal government, Jano says, come back to the office, is right. Because the only way I can make a point is to see here and see each one of you face to face. I know how to fix it. I'll be glad to sit down with any of your team and show you what to do. But it's the enforcement, not the rules, that's the problem. And if we see you not enforcing the rules, why do you expect the kids to stay off the top of the railroad cars? If you can break the rules, we can break the rules. You choose which you break, I choose which I break. Thank you all for having me and giving me this opportunity. I'm leaving because there's another meeting, and I have to figure out where to go.
Thank you. The next speaker is Maddie.
You want to hold that a second?
Sure.
Murray, I want you to know, isn't that what we talked about momentarily? Trying to fix it, Murray. Just stay healthy and keep going, you know.
I have to figure out where to go next.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. The next speaker is Maddie Bucky's Highland.
Thank you, Ms. Spascone, and welcome back. And happy Monday, everybody. This is Maddie Bucky's Highland. For today, I want to speak about congested pricing tolling, as recently a damning report has come out from Comptroller Tom DiNapoli that if congested pricing isn't funded, they could face a blowhole within. Well, I did oppose the $15 toll. Originally, I would support a reduced fare of $8 or $9 to pay for it. Personally, I think the minimum wage is $15 an hour, but we'll have to see when we go there. But you know, if this dire consequences are met, they may have to consider raising the tax for the MTA from 0.375% maybe to 0.5%, which has been the rate since 2005, when then Governor George Pataki was governor, and then Peter Clark-Howell as MTA chairman, and Katie Lapp as executive director. That's all I have to say for this month. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you, Ms. Spascone.
Thank you. Chair, that concludes the public comment.
Okay, good morning again. Thank you, Rose. We don't have a quorum, so we can't approve the minutes. President Sharon, are there any changes in the work in the work plan?
Good morning, Chair Mack. There are no changes to the work plan. So I'll just go right into my remarks. In line with the MTA's discussion of budget performance today, I'm pleased to report that Bridges and Tunnels is performing well in this respect. We continue to anticipate another round of record revenue surplus this year. This positive prediction is due to a combination of increased toll revenue and lower expenses. $10 million in recurring savings will begin in 2025. This includes reducing areas of underspending, future efficiencies in non-labor areas, and the elimination of vacancies, primarily due to revised staffing requirements. Ongoing efforts include future controls on procurement credit cards to ensure the best pricing for purchases, and a review of facility space needs. An independent needs analysis by C&D to meet the current and future operating environment was recently completed, and implementation strategies are underway. Additionally, for 2024, year-to-date total overtime is 8.5% or $2.2 million favorable from the mid-year forecast. This is attributed to continued management efficiencies and improved scheduling and staff deployment. We will continue to monitor expenses and look for additional savings opportunities throughout the year. Moving to recent events, I'd like to highlight a significant vessel passage, which took place in the overnight hours on October 19th. The Verrazano Narrows Bridge was the scene of a dramatic sight when the Genoa 25, a cargo vessel carrying 4 large container cranes, passed safely under the center span en route to Port Liberty Bayonne Terminal. While the passage under the bridge took just a few minutes, weeks of coordinated planning and analysis ensured the trip was successful without incident. Extensive behind-the-scenes efforts by multiple entities ensured safety for our customers, employees, maritime traffic, the vessel, its crew and cargo, the pilots, and the bridge itself. While MTA Bridges and Tunnels follows many established planned event protocols, due to the extreme size of this vessel, all parties agreed additional attention to this transit was required. The Genoa 25 and its crane cargo arrived in Lower New York Bay after sailing over 15,000 nautical miles from Shanghai, China. Guided by the United States Coast Guard Sector New York, the ultimate authority for maritime traffic in the port, the team followed a round-the-clock regimen of tactical planning meetings that entailed tide predictions, wind and weather monitoring, risk assessments, safety analysis, and close coordination and engagement among one another in this large multidisciplined group. All were focused on every imaginable detail to ensure success. After careful consideration of 3 possible dates, Saturday morning, the 19th, was determined to have optimal conditions for the passage. Out of an abundance of caution, MTA Bridges and Tunnels executed a closure of the entire bridge immediately prior to the final vessel movement. Regional messaging kept customer impact to a minimum during these lower traffic volume hours. Upon completion of the operation, our team reopened the bridge and its multiple ramps shortly before 4:30 a.m. to safely receive traffic again. I would like to recognize, of course, the U.S. Coast Guard Sector New York for their leadership during all phases of this operation, and I'm pleased Commander Dan McQuait could join us today to celebrate the successful event. Commander, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, I just want to send the regards to Captain John Andrzejczyk, the captain of the port for Coast Guard Sector New York. He's unable to be here today, but I'm glad I was able to be here today for this meeting and to talk briefly about this transit. This is just another example of how we're better together than separate. We all came together, all those entities you saw on the previous slide, all worked together throughout this transit, and I was kind of fascinated by the information on the Verrazano Bridge I didn't know about with the, deflection from the wind and the live load and all that good stuff from vehicles. So great work by the MTA staff coming together, providing the information, expressing concerns in a constructive manner rather than fighting against the scenario, because like I said, we all work together and a successful transit because of that. And thank you again for having me today here.
Commissioner Halbert.
Are you satisfied with the advance notice you got about the passage of this vessel under the bridge?
I'd say yes. I mean, we spent weeks planning this effort.
Thank you.
Commissioner Glucksman?
What was the purpose of this?
So as the harbor deepening project was completed in 2017, I would say, making a 50-foot channel, larger ships can come in, and they're looking at deepening the harbor to 55 feet to allow even larger ships to come in. So all the terminals, I say all the terminals, most of the terminals in the harbor have been getting larger container cranes over the years, so they can reach higher and farther when working container ships. So right now, a lot of container ships that come in will carry 12 to 14,000 TEUs. That's a 20-foot equivalent unit. So 40-foot containers, 2 TEUs. It's how they measure the containers. With the harbor going to 55 feet in Port Liberty Bayonne, building a third berth, they got these larger cranes to work the 18,000 TEU vessels that will, be coming in the years to come. So bigger ships, they wanted bigger cranes, so they brought these in.
Thanks, Dan. I'd also like to recognize the efforts of a number of entities who all played a unique and critical role, and you saw them on the screen a few slides ago. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the National Weather Service, Port Liberty Bayonne Terminal, Metro Pilots, Sandy Hook Pilots, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, NYPD, MTA Construction and Development, MTA Law and Risk Management, and the New York City Office of Emergency Management, and our B&T Incident Command Team on-site at the bridge throughout the night and morning. MTA Bridges and Tunnels is proud of our featured role our bridge played, contributing to regional commerce and further development at the port. Job well done by all involved. And if there are any more questions, I can pause here. Okay. Finally, as I mentioned at last month's meeting, one of our agency goals for 2024 is realignment of leadership and departments to better position Bridges and Tunnels for future success. We still have a few key positions to fill, but are well underway on our way to building on the great foundation laid before us and taking our agency to even greater heights as the leader in the toll and bridge industry. Toll and bridge tunnel, boy, wow, let me try that again. In the toll, bridge, and tunnel industry. It's my pleasure to introduce our current executive and senior leadership team, some of who you already know and some new faces. We welcome Diane Keneally as Chief of Staff and Chief Administrative Officer. She joins us from MTA Construction and Development, and before that, an impressive tenure with the New York State Department of Transportation. Diane leads corporate strategy and performance, administration, and external relations, which includes our special archive. Dr. Allison C. De Sereno continues as Chief Operating Officer. She couldn't be with us today. She's leading facility management, tolling management, and environmental health and safety. Ed King was promoted to Executive Vice President, leading security and operations, revenue recovery, and training. Don Look was promoted to Senior Vice President for internal affairs and security strategy. Joyce Brown continues as our Equal Employment Opportunity Officer, always heading off issues well before they become problems. Marlene Thompson has been reassigned as Senior Vice President of Facility Management, leading facility operations at all 9 crossings and also maintenance, which includes intelligent transportation systems and fleet. Charlie Chavez, who also couldn't be with us today, has been promoted to Senior Vice President of Security and Operations and also serves as our Chief of Department. And finally, Steve Knapp joins us as Senior Vice President of Tolling Management and brings extensive tolling and facility management experience from the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. So I'd like to welcome all the new members and congratulate anyone who was promoted. We will continue to provide updates on our reorganization as it unfolds, and we will look forward to working with the committee to keep you informed on the important matters we bring before you each month. Lastly, there are no procurements this month, and this concludes B&T's report. Are there any questions?
Okay. Could I have a motion to adjourn? Well, yeah. Well, thank you all for coming, and we'll keep fighting the battle.